Welcome in, everyone. We have a very intense topic to talk about today. That is potential conflict over in the Middle East and what it all means, how much of it is real, how much of it is fake, how much is it people overreacting, what could be the real plan here. And we're just going to unpack it piece by piece. There's two very short video clips we're going to play that center around this whole thing. But before we do any of that, as always, please like, subscribe, always comment with your thoughts. I love seeing the debate in the comments between everyone, and it helps stir things up. It helps get more people interested. Healthy debate is a part of a healthy society, and something tells me there's going to be a lot to debate today. And the topic is the United States on the fast track for major conflict / combat in the Middle East? What that might look like, what is causing people to believe this. I, as many of you viewers know, live out in the metro area of Washington, D.C., and a lot of my friends are involved with this. They're all in politics, so we have some really good discussions. I had a good discussion Wednesday night. I'm filming this February 6th, Thursday, and I'm going to shine a light on a little bit of those conversations as well. The first clip we're going to watch, which is what I think a lot of people have been very confused by. Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, was in Washington, D.C. to meet with Trump. They do a press conference, and in that press conference, Trump declares that the U.S. is going to take over Gaza. The people there are going to go elsewhere. We're going to be responsible, I guess, for all the unexploded ordinances, all the unexploded bombs, and then we're going to rebuild Gaza, I guess. And again, I'm saying I guess because nobody has any clue what this means, quite frankly. And it's just, it kicked off a flurry of reactions, a flurry of discussions. And let's roll that clip right now.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
So that right there is the Trump clip of him saying the United States is going to take over Gaza. And I cannot tell you the amount of confusion that comment has sparked in D.C. There's some people who believe that he was just riffing, got a little bit ahead of himself, that plan wasn't public. I believe there's some senior advisors who've said that they didn't know anything about it. They didn't know he was going to go out there and say it. Others, I believe, have said that it was after long, serious discussions they made that decision. Those two things seem to contradict each other. There's other people, including one person I spoke to Wednesday night, who believes that this is all a negotiating tactic. Actually, two people I spoke to Wednesday night believe that this is a negotiating tactic to kick the Egyptians, the Jordanians, and the Saudis into gear to get them to play ball, to do what we want. And the reality is, I don't know the answer to that. I do not know the answer to that. And anyone who tells you they do is, quite frankly, probably lying to you. And it's okay to say sometimes you don't know the answer to a specific thing. That leads us into the second clip we're going to play here, where Trump is vowing that if he's taken out, he has left instructions on what to do with Iran, and essentially there'll be nothing left of Iran if they take out the President of the United States. Let's roll that clip right now.
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do, not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That'd be the end. I've left instructions.
So there you go. Those are the two clips that have been going mega viral recently. One saying the United States is going to take over Gaza. The other one saying that if Iran takes out Trump, that they will be wiped off the face of the earth, for lack of a better term. We're just being simple here. And that has led some people to wonder whether or not conflict in the Middle East is imminent. This is my opinion based off people I have spoken to who know more about the situation than I do. And my assessment, if I had to guess, you will not see the United States take over Gaza. I believe the theory that this is a negotiating tactic to get our regional allies to bend to our will. We're the superpower, right? The United States of America is the superpower. None of the countries over there are superpowers. Saudi Arabia does have the ability to kind of put its thumb on the scale when it comes to oil. They definitely can be a player in that market. Historically, they have been. So their will, you genuinely, you can't really deal with them the same way you can deal with smaller countries over there because they can impact the global economy. Here's why I don't think you're going to see Trump actually go through with this claim that we're taking over Gaza. Number one, it cuts against everything he campaigned about getting out of foreign entanglements. There are, I believe, estimates about 1.2 million people in Gaza right now. And in theory, they're saying, we're going to move them elsewhere to a very nice place. They're going to love it so much that they're not going to want to come back. Well, then the question to that is, what if they don't want to leave? What do? Tony Blinken, before he left office as the Secretary of State in the Biden administration, said that I can't even say the word here, but the organization that Israel has been fighting for over a year had replaced its fighters in a 1-to-1 rate, roughly. That is a problem because let's put a scenario out there. The U.S. sends in people to clear out the ordinances, to clear out Gaza, to start rebuilding. What if some of them get killed? What if a couple American servicemen die because an ordinance went off when trying to be disposed, or people start taking pot shots and a couple of Americans die? It's going to be a disaster for the Trump administration because his voters have made it very clear that is not what they want to do at all. And so I am inclined to believe the people I spoke with who, again, are smarter than me, they're more plugged in on that specific thing, that they believe this is really Trump signaling to the Jordanians, Israelis, Saudis, Egyptians, that if they don't come together and figure this out, if they don't figure it out, then the U.S. is going to come in, and then everyone in that situation, in theory, could lose. And I think that could be enough to spark some serious negotiations. I just do not see any way the United States is putting boots on the ground in Gaza to deal with that situation whatsoever. And you've seen people say it's not worth a single American life to do it. I personally feel that there's a lot of credibility to that argument. It's a regional issue. It should be dealt with by the region. So you have that. You have people saying, well, if we go into Gaza and it turns into a hot shooting situation and a bunch of Americans get hurt or killed, then we're going to have to send more people in to deal with those, and then we're just in another situation in combat in Gaza, in the Middle East. I see almost no chance Trump follows through on that claim. I don't think he intends to. I don't think he's ever intended to. I think it is a negotiating tactic based off the information people gave me, who, again, are plugged into that situation better than I am. So in terms of going to war in the Middle East, I think we can safely remove one of two options off the table that would spark that. So Gaza, to me, is a hard no. That's not going to happen, most likely. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, let's talk about the second piece of a puzzle where people think it might spark some kind of large-scale military engagement in the Middle East, and that would be a potential war with Iran. There's a couple points I want to make here, because I see a lot of people who I don't think read history books, who don't appear to watch the news, but maybe they watch Top Gun Maverick and think they have a real good understanding of dealing with Iran's nuclear program, and you can just fly F-18s deep into Iranian territory and drop a couple bombs down into a nuclear facility, and that'll be the end of the program. Reality check. Number one, they're not going to be flying F-18s into Iran. Let's make that crystal clear right now. We have tech so much better than that if the call was made, you would not see Tom Cruise whipping around in a fighter jet that has other planes significantly better than it. But let's focus first on Trump's claim of, if he gets taken out, that they're going to obliterate Iran. That's obviously true. If the president of the United States is removed by a hostile action from a hostile nation, I don't care who the president is. I don't care who the vice president is. The retaliation from the United States would be unlike anything the world has ever seen. They would wipe them off the map if that actually happened. But then you got to step back a second and say, wait a second. Does Iran's leadership, which loves money and power, are they going to essentially do something that eliminates them from the situation? Are they going to do something so crazy, so insane, that they get taken out? Because that's what would happen. They know that. They know fully well that if Trump were to be, I don't even know if I can say the word, that if something were to happen to Trump and Iran did it, they know 1,000% they're all dead. The United States would take out every single one of them. That's not a whole lot of incentive to do something absolutely crazy like strike the president of the United States. So no, I don't see a situation where Iran decides to go off the rails in that sense. They do a lot of bad things. They're a problem. They cannot have nuclear weapons. All of that's true. Their leaders still love money and power. And people who love money and power are not going to do things, generally speaking, that get them taken off the earth with a strike that, honestly, maybe they nuke them. I have no idea. So I don't think you're going to see that happen. He's got the best protection in the world. The Secret Service is going to be around him. We're going to be proactive in any threat that might come up. So anyone who's saying, well, they're going to do that to Trump and then we're going to strike Iran, I see zero chance that Iran actually does that. Again, could be wrong. I'm open to being wrong. I pray like hell I'm not wrong, because that would be a tragedy of unspeakable levels, and then you would see a massive war start. However, you do see a lot of people that talk about, why don't we just hit Iran's nuclear facilities? So let's game plan this a little bit. Based off information, research, people I've talked with, if we have the ability, without a doubt, to take out Iran's nuclear program, we've got stealth bombers, we've got F-35s, F-22s. We have the ability to go in to Iranian airspace and essentially do whatever we want. Furthermore, the flight path that you might take for such a strike via Iraq or Syria, well, Syria's government's gone now that Bashar al-Assad is gone, and the new leaders are not friendly to Iran at all. The air defense systems in Syria are believed to be completely obliterated, don't exist anymore. So you can fly unrestricted if you want all the way through Syrian airspace. And then it's just about defeating Iranian surface-to-air missiles, air defenses, which the Israelis have already hit. Some of them they've already hit. So Iran's ability to stop a strike, if the United States wants to do it, is very limited. It's almost non-existent. The strike would be able to be conducted. It's not about the strike of taking out Iran's nuclear facility that you got to be worried about. It's how does Iran respond? Because Iran's greatest deterrent that they have is that they have a large rocket force. And that large rocket force can hit, as we've seen, Israel, Saudi Arabia, can hit our places in Iraq, which is, that's a whole different discussion of why we even have people over there still. But they could target all of that. You would see oil prices spike, and then you would see a massive regional war between the Saudis, the U.S., Iran, unless you're of the belief that you can just bomb Iran in all their nuclear facilities and they're not going to do anything. Keep in mind, Iran's nuclear facilities are deep underground. They're in mountains. You need to use heavy munitions. You need to use heavy ordinances. We do believe to have a weapon, a non-nuclear weapon. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Let's see if it's, I think it is. It is the, hold on. Let's see if I can pull up what the bunker buster is. Bunker buster. Let's see if they have, okay, this might be it. I think it is actually. Well, it's one of them, but we have the GBU 43, which is the Moab. But let's see. I thought there was a second one. Is this it? The GBU 28. Let's see if this one was. Okay, so here we go. The GBU 28. The first foreign. Well, that's not what we want. Delivery of the weapons. Still not what we want. Here we go. The weapon it's been suggested that the weapon could be used against Iran's nuclear facilities, and that is the GBU-24, which is a 4,000-pound bomb. Honestly, I don't know if a 4,000-pound bomb is making it through those facilities. I think we would need a bigger one, quite honestly. And again, you're calculating that Iran is not going to then respond regionally with rockets and ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, at targets in the region. That's a gamble. You don't know that. You don't know that until it happens. Do I think the U.S. will strike Iran's nuclear facilities if there's no choice? Very possible. Very possible. And if we do, you could see a massive spiraling of events. I'm not advocating for a position one way or the other. I'm just giving you the information. You guys in the comments below can advocate for whatever you want. I'm just telling you that this is how it would play out. We bombed their nuclear facilities. They hit Saudi oil positions. They hit our positions in Syria, Iraq. They almost certainly would launch more missiles at Israel. And now we're on the escalation ladder. We can win that, but it's going to come at an insane cost. So when I hear all these people talk about how conflict in the Middle East is imminent, it's like it's right around the corner. The war is here. I don't believe that. I actually think we're at a very, 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 very low chance of conflict in the Middle East. I think people like to hype it up. I think people in the media, people that, are on TV, whatever it might be, they want to hype it up because it's good for ratings. To answer it, as of now, I put the likelihood of conflict in the Middle East very low. I don't think the Gaza thing's going to happen. Iran, we have no serious, credible belief that they're going to be able to take out the President of the United States. If they do, they'll be handled accordingly. And I'm not convinced that Top Gun Maverick is going to play out in real life just yet. All options are on the table, I'm sure, but that's where I see it. Very, very low chance. Maybe I'm wrong, and if you think I'm wrong, comment below if you think I'm wrong. I'd love to read your comments. But that's where I'm at on that topic. If you made it this far in the video, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next time, and make sure to comment with how you think this situation will go.